going on YouTube? Mr. Football Coach here, and today we're going to be talking about Hudl Sideline. So if you don't know what Hudl Sideline is, Hudl offers an instant replay service for coaches, and it basically just adds on to your subscription to Huddle. And if you've never had experience with it, I've had a really good experience with it just here within the first year. I'm going to talk about what our package is and what we got and tell you about just how it works for us. Because I think everybody's situation is different about what they need out of a sideline replay system. So we weren't looking to do anything really crazy with it. Like we didn't need all the bells and whistles, but we needed some way to kind of get started because I knew that I wanted this, to kind of have that extra edge to be able to see and make corrections on the fly. And for what it's worth, it's the best thing for me as a coordinator to be able to see the adjustments that we need to make during the game. And I do have a few negative things to say, but everything that I say is pretty much positive. It's only just one thing that I've got to really try to figure out on my own. Anyway, so we purchased the Hudl Sideline Basic. The basic package includes basically where you can film with an iPad and you can have all your viewing devices there with you on the field and in the press box. I think it supported up to four viewing devices at one time, and we never really had more than 3 at that point because not all of our coaches needed that. So what we ended up doing was having 2 in the press box and 1 on the field. And we did do it the other way where we had 1 in the press box and 2 on the field. So it really doesn't matter how you do it. I think there's some really things you got to make sure your iPads are like up to date. One thing that's kind of stressful sometimes, make sure y'all got them all logged in and stuff like that. But we don't really ever touch the iPads during the week, so they're pretty much good. But we're going to talk about the sideline package and what you get when you get the basic. So what they send you is pretty simple to set up. It's not really that difficult. You've got the sideline, the bridge. Basically, it's the access point. And so basically, when you have this plugged in, it shoots the Wi-Fi signal down to the field, and it also creates one for the press box. And so it's got the Ethernet cord here, and then you've got the second piece, the press box access point. And so basically you just plug this in simply. We'll plug it in right quick here. Just plug it in. And these lights turn on here. And when those lights turn on, that tells you it's pretty much, it's now shooting out Wi-Fi. So when you get your Hudl Sideline package inside the owner's manual, you'll get a Wi-Fi password for the press box and for the sideline. And so wherever the iPad or wherever the iPhone is that you're going to use to view those clips on, it's going to be, you're going to have to use the appropriate Wi-Fi signal. And we only had a few issues with that to where it would, like the iPad would forget that, it forgot its password. So you had to type it in real quick, but it really wasn't that big of a deal. The only thing that I really have negative to say about this whole setup was the suction cup that uses. Basically, like our press box has glass all over it, and then we have like an upper deck part. But like when we would basically, you stick this on the glass, and it only held for about the first 3 games or so, and then it would just fall down. And there's a few times where that thing bit. It luckily didn't fall very far, but like I eventually just started just putting it up in a window and holding it sideways. I saw other teams. They were just like. They would just lay it down on the press box. They'd just be laying there. But as long as this is like facing the way it should, it's sending out that access point. And if you see those green lights, kind of hard to see with my lighting here, but that's when it's working. So, I think during the last game, I just put it up top and I just laid it down on the press box floor up there, or not in the floor, but on the what we call the crow's nest, where basically our filming deck. We just put it up there. Because your filming iPad has to be within 15 feet of that. But what I also figured out was, we have basically our press box has two layers or 2 levels. It's got the press box layer where the media and like I'm trying to say is like the score clock's in there, and then up top is the film deck, and we have like coaches boxes up there. And so like I figured out like even going up, like it still worked for us. So that was like something I was always concerned with when we first got it was, is it going to have to be filming inside? How close can it be? It ended up working out great that way. As long as you have a power source, you're fine. This was our filming iPad right here. Let's see if it's even turned on. Oh, still alive. Okay, so we ended up trying some different things, and I'll eventually review the stuff that I have on these iPads and stuff, like especially the holder, which is an iograph case, which is kind of like pretty common to see in coaching and whatever. I mean, when I first got into coaching, I didn't really notice these, but now I'm really sold on these cases, just because however you film with it, we still film on a tripod. I don't want like someone that's shaking with the camera. I'd rather it be on a tripod, but I love the case because it keeps it in there. Now, we just had to put the base iPad in there. There's no screen protector on it or anything like that. But I'll just kind of show you real quick, how it worked for us with Sideline. So, you just pretty much pull up the Sideline app, and this actually has all of our games still on it, at least dating back to mid-October. And so, like, when it comes on here, it'll ask you, where. I know it's kind of hard to see, guys, but it just simply asks, like, okay, I'm in the press box. I mean, this thing's like right here. I would do that, and it says it wants to join the press box network. I hit join. I mean, I haven't tested this since since football season ended, but it's still going, so we're connected. And then basically, you can hit the record button, and I love this. And once I taught my filmers how to do the ODK, because it will actually organize all the clips by ODK, so offense, defense, and kicking. And so there was only a few times where like they wouldn't realize that a punt play was also a kicking play, so I would have to go back and correct some of that. But for the most part, it was always done the right way. And so there it is. I mean, it just simply, like, you start recording the play and it simply goes on there, and you press O, D, or K, and I mean, it works out great. And so it's awesome the way we do this. And this by far is like the best thing that I've been introduced to in coaching. I mean, it's just so easy. And then, like, with all the different iPads that are out there, as long as you have an iPad that's at least probably about 4 or 5 years old, I mean, it's going to work fine. I mean, you can't have any of those dinosaur iPads, but we have pretty much all new ones that work really well for us. And all my viewing ones. Let me show you one thing we did that I really liked. I got to thinking about weather games. Like, what we're gonna do when the rain hits. Well, I had a backup iPad to film with that was in a life-proof case, and so I don't have the life-proof case in here right now, but I'll review that one day. But I got this case off Amazon. It's kind of like a life-proof. I think it was only $30. But basically, for those weather games, we had kind of an iPad, and we pretty much this is the one that I have. This is my personal one, and so, like, it's even got like a strap here, kind of like And basically, the whole premise of this is, like, when I'd be you'd have to climb up ladders that'll weigh places to, like, get to the top of the press box, and so, like, if I'm, like, taking this into the locker room, I want to put this around me here, and I want to just walk down, with my stuff, and I want to have my hands free so I can climb down the ladder and not hold an iPad. Something that's, $300, $400 hanging around your neck. I mean, it's better than dropping the thing. And it's in a shock-proof case, so I mean, it's not going to get damaged anyway. And then what I also did was, I could also, sit like this in the press box, and I could have my iPad right here. And I coach defense, and so when we're on offense, I'm kind of, reviewing plays and stuff like that. And like in between, series and stuff, I'm sitting here, watching plays, making little notes in my head and stuff like that. And it's just such a neat thing. I loved it. I saw a lot of negative things about Hudl Sideline where it just wasn't working or something. I don't think people. I mean, I followed all the instructions and I read up on this stuff for like a year, and it worked great for me. So maybe people just don't know how it works, and they get mad and go on there and complain to Huddle that it doesn't work. It worked great for me. I'd been wanting to get it for the last few years, and we finally got it this year, and it was awesome. The one negative thing that I found was trying to view it at halftime. And so there was only a couple times where it ended up working. And what ended up happening was when I would take my iPad from the press box, like I would leave at halftime, I would have it around my neck and walk in there. And then when I'd try to turn it on, I wouldn't, it was like when you got far away from the network that you're on, it wouldn't pick up the signal, like it wouldn't pick that signal up anymore. So you couldn't see all the clips that was already downloaded. And so kind of how it works, like if I just pull this up right quick, it's making me want to log in. I'm not sure why it's doing that, but it wants me to log in, I guess, whatever. Basically, the clips all show up, and you can sort them by offense, defense, and kicking. And what ended up happening was we would get in there, and you couldn't see the plays. Well, one of the coaches would have to go back outside and then just leave the how we figured it out was if you left the iPad on and didn't like lock it, and you still left it running on a play, let's say you downloaded the last clip of the half, you'd still have all of those to go back and review. But as soon as you turned it off, it wouldn't show them anymore. So like when we were at home games, like our press box, let me just make a scenario here. Like our press box and field is right here. And then like over here is like where our field house is in the locker room. And so we couldn't get those, the plays from there to there. And so it was hard to view them. And so somebody would have to have and even on away games, I would have to remember, all right, if we're going to look at anything at halftime, I've got to leave this on. And so it's kind of a hard thing to do when you're in the game and I'm just not sure like what the solution is there. We're not the type of team that puts up the tent and has we don't have enough coaches. We don't have enough players to do like the tent where, they've got it on TV. We don't do any of that stuff. Like that's just too much mess for me to even think about. It's just, it's easy enough just to have all the iPads because you've got a screen right there. And so that's just kind of part of what it's all about. But I'm going to kind of go to Huddle this winter and just see if there's other solutions to that problem or if that was the right thing to do with downloading the clips. But that was the one negative thing that I found all year that, kind of impacted how we were using it. Like it helped me as a coordinator to see, things that we were missing because you can't see everything at once. There are some coaches that claim they can see everything at once, but I can't. I try to focus on one aspect of the game and at a time, and then you can go back and review it. We just got the Huddle Basic. I mean, we got the Hudl Sideline Basic package. All of the other ones, have different perks and so forth. Like we have an end zone camera, but we didn't use it for the end zone camera, which would be nice, and that's by far the better camera. And it gives us the angles that we really want to see with like the linemen and stuff and how they're blocking. But the one thing that I'll say that made a huge difference was uploading. And there was a few times where we'd be on the road and we'd stop at McDonald's to eat, late after the game, and we'd be eating there. And then I just decided, like here late in the season, I was uploading the film like while we were at McDonald's, and you get that free Wi-Fi in McDonald's, or you go to a place like it's got that free Wi-Fi, you can upload your game film pretty quick. And so I've kind of got that figured out, and it's pretty awesome. So like I've got some other tip videos that I'm gonna come out with about Hudl Sideline. I'm eventually gonna talk about like our entire setup. I just want to kind of do an intro video today to kind of show you what it was all about. I'll talk about what we ended up taking with us, so you can kind of have like a game plan, kind of like a bag. Because basically what we did was we just took a backpack and we put all of our stuff that we needed for Hudl Sideline in this bag. We put all the iPads. We put, extension cords. We put, because we ended up needing extension cords, and we also needed like a power strip to plug all this stuff in. You'll need something to plug your iPad in. You don't want your filming iPad to go dead. And you got to make sure all the stuff is plugged in. I'll talk about all that stuff in a later video. I don't want this video to get too long because I've kind of rambled on about it. But Hudl Sideline is great. I would love to try out some of the other packages, but The basic was good enough for us. We're a small school. We don't have many coaches. I was basically the only one that really ran Hudl Sideline, and we did have some of our other coaches look at it, on the field and stuff. But for the most part, for me as a coordinator in the press box, it was beneficial to me to see the game unfold and go back and have video evidence that something was going up and you had a way to fix it. And you saw what the problem was and you could correct it. And that was like the biggest tool for us as coaches to kind of fix our problems on the field or fix it at halftime, whenever we could get it, because most of our players were playing both ways. So, you can't just pull the kid off the sideline because, he's about to run off on kickoff and then he's on offense and then he also plays defense. So it's really hard to get all that. But if you can get it to your coaches and get them to coach their players up, in the game and work on those little things, it makes a difference. So by far, it was worth it. It will be worth it next year. And we're going to just kind of see where it goes from here. But I'll have some more videos on Hudl Sideline and just how it all kind of wrapped up for us. And this is basically my review of Hudl Sideline Basics. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe for more of my videos on this. And I've got other, other coaching related videos that deal with the technology stuff. And we'll talk about that at a later time. And I'll have some more videos on this stuff as well, like I said. But I want to end this here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Mr. Football, out.